What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, and we are with the Pantheon Podcast Network. Today, we have author James Bailey on the show, and I cannot wait to get this thing started. So let's go.
Oh, no! Oh, boy! Ah, here it comes! The motherfucking Loud Spot!
And as always, I'm with my co-host, Kyler, all the way from California. Before we get the show started, I do want to remind everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on all podcasting platforms. James Bailey is an author. He has a book. I have it right here called The Diary of a Manic OCD Bookseller. And it is fantastic. Not only does it make you laugh, but it also makes you think. And so without further ado, James, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James Bailey, author and actor. Don't forget that.
Oh, author and actor. That's right. That's right. So, I'm reading this book and I don't know what to expect at first, except for it says OCD, manic OCD bookseller. So I'm thinking, what am I getting into? And it starts off with pretty much you starting off as a writer. And I want to ask you, what got you into writing? What wanted to get you into writing in the first place?
Well, what happened, I was an actor in Hollywood and I was getting some parts, but nothing you would say, hey, there's that guy when I walk down the street kind of thing. So I befriended Mel Brooks, which is, as you know, that weird story in the book. Did you get to that part in the book?
Yeah, but I want you to explain. I want you to elaborate on it, okay? Elaborate on it. It's your story.
He's quizzing you. He's making sure you read it.
I got you. All right. Well, what happened was I wasn't getting, I was getting smaller parts, stuff like I said, nothing that stood out. And so I was always hustling, I was going to studios, sneaking into studios. And back then they didn't have the stalkers and all that where you could, the security wasn't, worried about some nut coming in there.
Right.
Hurting someone or following someone. So what I would do, I'd wait till lunch every day at Fox or whatever studio. And when all the suits would go in with their suits and all that, I would just join them. I had a cheap suit that I had a $50 suit that I wore every day. And I would just ask them the time or something, so like we're together. So the security just assumed I was with that group. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I get in, I would try to meet producers, casting people, and I did it all the time. I couldn't stop, So
it's probably a lot easier then than it is now to do like that, right? Because security's all over the place.
You couldn't do it today. And there's too many wackos, dangerous wackos. At least I wasn't dangerous, So anyway, I'm doing that crazy stuff and I hear this guy yelling from behind me. He goes, "Are you fucking insane?" And I thought, oh God, who's behind? I hadn't turned around yet. And I turn around, it's Mel Brooks. He goes, "Are you fucking insane? I'm asking you a question." I said, why? He said, every fucking day you got the same fucking clothes on. I'm just insane. So I said, well, that's debatable, but I didn't say that. But I just said, no, I'm an actor. I'm trying to meet people, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, that's not the way to do it. If I notice your security's going to notice. He was trying to keep me from getting in trouble,
Right.
I said, okay. He said, don't come back. Leave right now. Don't come back. Of course, when he walked away, I kept doing what I was doing. Yeah, I can't be stopped. So anyway, true story. Next day, I had an audition for Charlie's Angels. So I had a legitimate pass at Fox, my first legitimate. So I'm walking this big studio at Fox, and I thought, Mel, he'll never see me. It's huge. I didn't want to see Mel after he scolded me. So I walk in the freaking studio, I'm looking around, making sure he doesn't see me or I don't see anybody. And all of a sudden, this Rolls Royce comes pulling in, and Mel sees me, and he starts shaking his head like, "Oh shit!" I run up, Mel, I got a freaking pass, man. I'm legitimate. He said, "Well, tuck your fucking shirt in." And then we become friends ever since. So there's a method to my madness, I guess.
Throughout your book, you talk about him a lot. You talk about Mel Brooks a lot. Advice that he gave you, and we're gonna get into that. But it seems like you're very big on not giving up. Not giving up, because so many people give up on their dreams, their passions way too much. And with your story, what I got from it was never give up. And as long as you keep on pushing, you'll find the right path to get to where you need to go.
That's right. You got to go. Sometimes you got to go a long way out of your way to get where you want to be. You know, a lot of detours, but as long as you keep plugging, that's my philosophy. You know.
So before we get into the actors and the book, you know, you talk about a homeless guy. That which
one?
This is when I really first started. When as I was reading the book, you know, and I want to tell everyone that's out there, this is it's a good read. The chapters they're fast chapters because they're kind of short stories of a path that you've been on. And one of the first stories that I remembered from the book, I was sitting at a bar in Wichita, Kansas, and I said,
I was born 60 miles outside of Wichita.
Okay, right on. And
not Kansas City, Kansas, by the way. Anybody?
Okay, right on. That's right. It's Ark
City,
not Arkansas. Kansas is what they call it.
Well, they call it Ark City if you live there. You know,
Ark City. Okay. And I'm reading this, and I'm sitting there, and I catch myself laughing out loud.
Good.
You know, and I got a beer in one hand. I'm laughing, and everyone's at this bar is looking at me like. And I called Kyler, and I said,
"Just gonna say that."
Yeah, she'll go ahead. She goes, "Don't be that guy at a bar reading a book." I said, "Well, let's do the show, right, Kyler?"
No, but I thought when I first called you, you said I'm at a bar reading a book. Didn't say what book. I know, so I said, "Don't be that guy." But then once he said it was your book, it made sense.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
That manic thing, right? The manic.
The very manic thing.
So you're I forgot where exactly you live, but you're on your way, I guess, to California.
Right.
And you pick up this guy. Why do you pick him up again? What's the whole point of picking him up?
Well, he had the Jesus loves you sign. I'm always a sucker for that. And I gave him $2, and then I don't know what happened. He started talking to me, and my brain knows that Jesus is a scam, you know. But I do it anyway. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. So that's how that came about. Then he walked up to me. I think it's in the book. Somebody stole his Bible and they stole his glasses. You know the sob story. And he's going to San Diego, which we're in Texas at this time.
That's right.
And here's another red flag. He was there for 2 weeks at that rest stop. That should have told me. The guy's off his rocker. Well, he's more than
Something's not okay.
So don't let him in your freaking car. But I don't think that. Why? For some reason.
Yeah, being OCD, right? Because you're diagnosed with OCD,
right?
Okay. So doesn't being OCD? I would assume you wouldn't want to pick someone up because you talked about how maybe walking by someone who was on drugs, maybe you felt like you'd be on drugs or you couldn't be around certain people, right? So you would think you wouldn't pick up this homeless guy who did not smell very good.
Well,
and take him where you were going.
By this time, I'm about 90-some% cured. So
okay.
But all that said, it's good. I had a fear of germs, I think you saw that in the book.
Yes.
So self-treatment, for lack of a better word, I would hang around dirty people. I mean, you're not big on hygiene, the straight people, So that's probably one of the who knows? I like risks, so I always take a risk. So I thought, this fat guy will be a risk or something. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking right, that's for sure.
No. So you want to go? You finally get to California, or I don't know if you got.
Wait a minute! I get him in the car. This is a good story.
Okay.
I drive about 2 miles in the car, and he stinks so bad. I mean, I literally was about to throw up. He smelled so bad. 2 weeks in the sweat. He weighs 400 pounds. Got a dirty beard. I mean, the whole 9 yards. So I stuck my head out the window and tried to drive like that.
Ace Ventura.
And I
it's all in here. It's all in here. But go ahead. It's good. It's good.
I said, dude, you got to get out, man. I can't do this. And he said, I'm not getting out. Now, oh, shit, that guy, the 400-pound guy who don't want to get out of my car. So there you go. And he stole my glasses, by the way.
Mic drop. Stole my glasses.
Yeah, well.
I don't remember that part in the book, but that's crazy that he would you do someone a favor and they take something from you. But he did kick him out, but you didn't kick him out in the middle of nowhere. You brought him to the nearest rest stop, which is
right. Far. You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? He told me somebody had stole his glasses and his Bible, which I said to him, I've never heard anybody stealing a Bible before. I want to see your Bible since you're Christian. He said, well, it was stolen. I can't show it to you.
Oh my
Wow.
God, man.
So anyway, I never knew it would be a good story, but
Yeah, no, it's great. And
Yeah.
so you wind up getting to California. I don't remember if weren't you trying to sell or get a publisher to publish your books before you went to California, and you found some in the UK that kind of changed I don't know if it was a narrative or changed some things in your book around to fit their audience?
Yeah, I went to California so many times back and forth. I almost get lost in how I was doing at that time. I was going. So, I think what happened. Well, getting back to why I got into writing.
Yeah,
because you remind me of that. I was getting these small parts in movies, and Mel became friends with Mel, and he said, "Well, Jim, if you write a movie, then you have power. I mean, if they want to buy your script, then you have to say, well, I won't sell it unless you put me in the movie."
right.
So that's kind of where the writing came about.
Okay.
So then the book writing came about when I was in that OCD clinic. I was telling Mel all the wacky stuff. I was, remember I had the fear of drugs.
Yeah.
Irrational fear. So I was started hanging around drug dealers, trying to face my fears. And they finally said, well, that Jim dude, he always talks about drugs, but we've never seen him do drugs. So then they think I'm a narc, So, now I got drug dealers after me, So
well, you do talk about doing, I think, hallucinogenic at one point that you did not care for. And I don't know if you told your mom about it or something like that. Right?
Well, when I was about 19 or 20, I did acid twice, and both times were bad trips.
Yeah.
And then it seems like a few months later, I started getting depressed. I don't know if I had any. So doctors won't say anything to do with that, but it's strange that would happen to me. So that's kind of then the irrational thinking and all that came about, and that's when I finally ended up in that clinic and faced my fears, so to speak. And then I started thinking rational, like one guy was saying in the clinic, and he would say, if drugs were that easy to get high off, drug dealers would be out of business. You just walk by, God. So you start thinking more logical. That's the idea of that training, treatment, for lack of a better word.
Let's go into the library at Santa Monica. I don't know if it was Santa Monica or a different library. I don't know if it's your OCD that was kicking in, but you're paranoid that someone's either they're going to hurt you or someone was staring at you.
Oh no, I wasn't paranoid. I was normal at this time. These are just wackos in the library.
And
why are they to hurt me? No, the paranoia's gone by now.
And you already have your books in the bookstore. Now, getting your books in the bookstore was a lot easier because originally it seemed like getting it maybe was almost impossible. And what did you do to get your books into the bookstores in here in America?
See, that's where the relentless comes in. I'm a relentless, if you get, like you set a goal, I can't be stopped. I'm just always moving forward. So what happened, I didn't realize this. I just called a bookstore randomly, and I told about my first book, Man Interrupted. And they said, is it in the system? And hell, I didn't know what the system was. And I said, well, what's your name, James? Yeah, you're in the system. I said, well, can you get my books in the store? Yeah, I'll get your book right now. So I didn't know it was that easy. So
just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got 5 books in the store, and then I sold all 5 that same day. I wouldn't stop till I sold them all. And then I called Mel. He said, well, you stupid. You got to leave at least one in the store. Ego or whatever. I couldn't help myself. So then I get on the bus, go to another bookstore. I just nonstop,
Hustling. He said he's a hustler. Yeah.
You have
12 hours a day. I was just.
You have to. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a quick sponsored break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we are going to talk about some of the different celebrities that you have met that you were pretty much showing your book to, and some of the stories that you have with them. They're very interesting. I have a few written down, but please feel free to talk about some other ones.
Yeah. I've got some
right now. So we'll be right back after this sponsored break. All right, and we are back with author and actor James Bailey. Forgot to say the acting part the first
Sebastian, you are my man.
Hey.
You're not bad either, but he read my book. He takes precedence,
Kyler, I will send you a copy. Actually, you know what, James? I might even send you the book. to get it autographed and
sure.
then send it back to me because I know you like signing, or you have signed a lot of different autographs and books. So let's go into some of the people that you have met. It seems like maybe in Santa Monica, is there a spot like a cafe, or I didn't know if it was a cafe or a place where a lot of these celebrities kind of tend to hang out at?
Well, most of them is Malibu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little place called the Country Mart, and there's little shops and restaurants there. And there was one bookstore at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you walk around there, there's a good chance Jerry Seinfeld goes to this certain coffee shop, and all these kind of people. And they had a bookstore right about maybe 50 yards from all these places, so. And the owner liked me because I was bringing so much business into the bookstore because a lot of people didn't know there was a bookstore. Kind of hidden back there, and a lot of tourists didn't even know. So I'd hit people up, and then I'd bring them into the store, autograph it, and they'd buy other books. So I was doing this owner a favor.
Hustler.
So,
there's his hustler. There it is. There it is.
Yeah. So I just, even the owner or the manager said, man, he was ordering 30 books a week. He said, we can't keep up with you, man. Quit selling so many, So anyway, like I'm saying, these are very wealthy people, and buying a book to them is like buying a Snickers bar. They don't. So,
yeah.
So during this encounter, I met Bob Dylan, like I was telling you.
I want to talk about Bob. In fact, that's when I was going to lead into the Bob Dylan story, because at first I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh no, it's not, and then I'm like, oh, so. In your own words, I want to hear it from your mouth. I know the whole entire story of what happened. I just gave it to you in a nutshell there. But Kyler hasn't heard.
I want to know, especially from you. I want to hear it.
Okay, so I'm working the parking lot, in Malibu, looking for a possible park victim. No pun intended. And I walk up to this man. He's walking around, and I say, "Hey, sir, do you like to read?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure. What you got?" So I showed him my book. I was carrying the book with me. And he said, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll get your book. And he was so nice to me. He says, how long you been writing? And he said, well, I'm so happy to meet you, James Bailey. I've never met an author before. And I thought, wow, this guy's the nicest man I've ever met my whole life. He kept giving me compliments.
Yep.
I think, wow, I wish I was like him, nice guy like him. I'm not that nice of a guy, So we keep walking, we're talking, and finally we get about halfway to the bookstore, and I think, wait a minute, this guy looks familiar. I mean, he looks like Bob Dylan, So part of my brain says, don't ask him, like he's not telling me anything. So I said, hey, sir, what kind of work do you do, by the way? He says, well, I'm a gardener, So, okay, gardener. All right. But still, they say, wait a minute, And I said, I was hoping he would say I play music or something, Bob, or write music or something. Mm-hmm. So we kept going to the store, and he kept giving me compliments again. James, where do you do most of your writing? Just like old friend kind of thing. So we get in the store, and I'm going to autograph the book. So I'm thinking, Robert or Bob, right? He's got to give me something. So I said, sir, what you want me to write down? And he says, just leave it blank. He says, I'm going to give it to my friend when I finish. See, he didn't want to tell me. So I tried one more trick. He said, what's your next book about? And I know Bob's originally from Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So my book's about a guy from Minnesota. He never been on it. He said, oh, really? So anyway, nice man. And then this black woman comes in, and he's telling her about me, this black woman. I heard he's into black women, which is fine. I'm into well, whatever. So anyway,
no, keep going.
Yeah. So he's telling her about me. He's pointing there. It's James Bailey, the author, blah, blah, blah. Wow, I'm thinking, God, I love this man. So finally he left, and then the owner or manager, whoever it was, she says, you know who that was? Bob Dylan, don't you? I said, yeah, I thought so. I was almost positive. But so, yeah, she said he comes around there once in a while. And then, all those Malibu people kind of know each other in some way or another. So good story.
Did you ever? Yeah. And you say it so well too, way better than I would have said it. Did you ever get starstruck meeting some of these people when you were out there? Like we're going to talk about Seinfeld, and I want to talk a little about Cameron Diaz. I think there's a very valuable lesson with that
love
one.
Cameron Diaz.
But did you ever get starstruck or feel, and I know you felt nervous or
whatever
at some point? Yeah. What was the feeling like? Ever like, no, I don't want to talk to him. I wouldn't even know what to say. Did that ever happen, or were you just hustling your book?
No.
Hustler. He's a
No
hustler.
prisoners are allowed. I take them all, man. No, I really, a lot of my friends say, "Why didn't you get their autograph and their picture and all that crap?" I say, "Hey, they think of me as a writer. That's why they do movies. People write movies, write books. So then they kind of think of me as equal. That's why they're generally nice to me. I would think that's part of my thinking.
Sure.
So I don't really get starstruck. Not really. I mean,
I think once you meet a couple different celebrities, and maybe this is true for you, it would be for me anyways. You meet some people, the feeling kind of goes away, maybe naturally as you're around all these different people, right?
I try not to even think about it. If I see a possible book buyer, bam, I'm
You're
on.
after him. You're after him.
No afterthought.
There was one valuable lesson that I thought was a great lesson, or not maybe a lesson, but something Mel Brooks had said to you. You gave Cameron Diaz, right, a free copy of your book. Okay.
Right.
Now, when you give her the free copy, Mel Brooks says, don't give something away for free, something along those lines, because there's no value. If you don't even spend $1 on something, if you just go ahead. Yeah.
No, basically what Mel is saying is if you give somebody a book, like Cameron, for instance, they won't read it. Because they're getting scripts, they're getting junk all the time. And, he, like Mel says, when people give him stuff, because he's famous, he's Oscar winner, he throws it away. So and would I still get Cameron Diaz a book? I'd give her 2 books. So, what the hell? Cameron Diaz, come on. And she's very nice too, by the way.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and my take from it would have been, you give someone something for free. Sometimes there's just less value in it than if they would have paid for it. Even saying, "Hey, give me $1 for this," because now that they paid something for it, it holds. Even if it's small value, it's valuable to them.
That's right. Well, if I met Cameron Diaz near a bookstore, it would be a different story.
That's true. Now, okay, let's go into Jerry Seinfeld. And you're down with you giving him a book the first time.
Yes. I learned a lesson with that first encounter with Jerry. I saw Jerry talking to a guy at this coffee shop that he hangs out at. And he's with the same guy, and I gave him a book, and he took the book. And I don't know why. Once you watch TV, like Seinfeld was my favorite show.
Mine too.
Still is. Yeah, still is, by the way.
Yep.
So you think that you kind of know these people. I know it's not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen thousands of these episodes. Like, I know this guy, and I know he's funny and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping when I met him the first time he would have made a joke or said something, and he didn't. So. So I kept walking around the area, and it didn't look good because the book, this is my first book, it's got OCD written all over the cover, so not a good sign. So I kept walking around, and I should have left. That's what I usually do when I meet somebody like Jerry. But I went back over to him after the guy left, and Jerry says, I'm going to give you this book back, I said,
well, back to him, yeah.
So, that's a burn.
Yeah, well, I just earned it. I just earned it. So I called Mel right after that. He said, "That's what you get. Just give him the freaking book. Got your ass out of there." See, Mel is the voice of reason, for me. So, anyway, fast forward a few years later, Jerry's back at the place with the same guy. So I walked up to Jerry and I said, "You probably don't remember me, but I gave you a book a few years ago and you gave it back to me." And he looked at me. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember you." So I said, "I'm not going to give you a book. I'm giving your friend a book. It's a different book." So I gave it to his friend. So, and I also said to Jerry, "You're my second favorite comedian." "Oh, really?" He's the second. I said, "Robert Klein is my favorite." So he said, "Oh, okay. All right." So anyway, I left, got my ass out, and I left the book with the other fellow, right? Mm-hmm. So I got out of the area. I came back about a half hour later, and there was 2 girls sitting by the same table that Jerry and that other guy had left by now. Mm-hmm. So I said, "Did you happen to notice if I left the book on that table over there?" She said, "Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld was there. Him and this guy were leaving, and Jerry came back. He said, 'Wait a minute, I forgot my book.'"
Oh, there
All my
it
books.
is.
That had to feel pretty good coming from, Jerry Seinfeld actually
Yeah.
took your book. But do you ever get confirmation of any of these celebrities that you've encountered reading your
That's a
your
good
books?
question. I'm trying to think. It'd have to be somebody I bought my book and I would run into him again. Yes, somebody. Oh, yes, I did. I got a good confirmation. What's her name? She was in Harry Potter. Helen Bonham Carter.
Okay.
She was at that time I think she was living with what's that big director? Tim.
Tim. Well, there's Tim Burton.
That's him.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
the big one.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. Okay.
So I saw Tim and her walking together around this same area, my hangout. Everybody thinks I live there because I'm there. They
Right.
don't see me catch the boat. When nobody's watching, I run to the bus stop. Anyway, they were very nice, and I gave her a book, Helen, and I tried to give one to. I didn't give one to Tim because they were together. They were just a couple. So anyway, I walked around. And I thought, I wish I would have given one to Tim as well, But anyway, I ran into Tim by accident later. And I said, well, here, Tim, I want to give you one as well. And I said, Mel Brooks has got a blurb on it. I always use Mel's name. And he said, well, no, Helen's got the book. One is good. Well, we'll share it. He was a nice guy. So anyway, about 2 weeks go by, and I'm walking by this coffee shop, the other section of Malibu, and this hair place. And Helen's in there getting some work, whatever women do, nails or whatever. And I saw Helen, and I walked in. I said, Helen, did you ever get a chance to read my book? She said, oh, yeah, you wrote that OCD book, right? She said, yeah, it was brilliant. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it must feel good to get some confirmation with people, especially celebrities. Me, it doesn't matter as much probably, but celebrities, because it has some clout to it. It for me, it makes you more, I don't know the right word to say, but reputable, I guess.
Or credibility, something.
Credibility, yes, stuff like that.
So yeah, because like I said, most of those people I was giving free books, which like we were talking, they probably wouldn't read it anyway. So that's one thing I didn't get too angry at. I thought they're nice enough to take my book. And then when I gave one to Matthew McConaughey, at that time I didn't have a movie deal.
Right.
So I thought, well, I'm naive in that way. I thought, well, I'll give him a book. You read it, and he's a big star. He could make a movie from him. So that's before I got a movie deal. I was giving free books away, for lack of a better word.
Let's talk about your movie just for a second, and then I want to get into Larry Hankin because he's coming on the show and your guys' relationship. But your movie is called, and I keep on forgetting the damn name of it, but I know it's in here several times. Go ahead, and for some reason I confuse it with Last Man Standing from Tim Allen, which is like a new sitcom. So I don't even know why I do that.
I actually met Tim Allen recently too. That's another story.
Okay, yeah, right on. So what's the name of your movie?
Which one now? I'm trying to confuse.
The one in the book that you talk about quite a bit. Man Interrupted. Was it Man Interrupted?
Oh, that's the one. Well, actually, Adam Sandler had got the Mel sent him the script, and I kept getting money for it, but they never actually did it. So.
Okay, but see, so I confused Man Interrupted with Last Man Standing, which is totally
different.
things.
But I have a script out right now called Anonymous Content, who's big. They did Schitt's Creek and all that.
Right on. That's a great show.
So if they happen to do it or buy it from me, I'm not going to sell it unless I can act in it.
There you go.
Because I'm in my last lap in life. I'm trying. Acting is my deal now. So whatever.
Relationship with Larry Hankin. He's going to be on the show at sometime. I think either next week or the week after that. Your relationship with him is he seems like a very nice guy, just like yourself. Easy to get along with, easy to talk to.
On a good day.
Man.
I'm going to say that for him during our show.
Man.
Well, Larry's me and Larry are tight. So I can say stuff like that.
That's any more. Do you have plans on coming out with any more books?
Yeah, I'm working on another book as well. I have another book called Almost Texas that's out.
Okay.
Now, if you don't like dark comedy, you wouldn't like it. But it's kind of like, the guy picked up hitchhiking.
Yes.
In that other book, there's guys like him everywhere in this too.
That's my kind of book.
Yeah, it's about this really beautiful guy. I had a friend when I was about 20. He was so handsome. Every just people, guys would even look at him. One of those kind of people you see once in a while you think, why didn't God make me like that? You know,
Well, I would say it's kind of like you and I. I think everyone looks at us, right?
Yeah.
Well, they look
I
like-
can't stop staring.
Yeah, right. In our dreams, right? But anyway, he was really handsome, but he would steal from people. He was a sociopath.
Oh.
But he had the looks, and I took his look in my new Almost Texas hitchhiking, and he's so handsome, and you never expect a male model to be hitchhiking. It's usually, guys like I picked up, slobs or whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody picks him up. And he meets the gay truck driver who wants to be Tonto on Lone Ranger. He meets all these weird characters. So that's kind of, I like road trips. So that's kind of what. So if you like my other book, you might check Almost Texas out in the future or something.
I don't know a lot of authors, and I will say I enjoyed your book, and I will continue to read your other books. As long as you come out with them, I will continue to buy them. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, I do want to get a signed copy of this one.
Yeah, sure. You're my man.
We are out of time. We only keep about a 30-minute show or a little over that.
Okay.
So I do want to thank you, James, for coming on, sharing your experience. I'd like you back on again whenever you have something new to talk about. Let's talk about it. There's the book right there. I want to thank the Pantheon Podcast Network. I also want to thank Kyler, and I want to thank my producer, Sam, who is always improving our show. Don't forget, once again, to check out all of there's Sam right there.
There
Boom, right there.
Hey, you're all great. You're all very great.
Thank you. And don't forget to check us out on all podcasting platforms. Pick yourself up a copy of The Diary of a Manic OCD book sale. You can buy it on
$10.
Amazon.
Only $10.
There you go, $10. I bought it on Amazon.
Hustler. He's still hustling.
You can find it anywhere. You will not be disappointed.
You're I like that guy. I'm going to put him in my movie, man. He's in my movie, man.
Hey, I am a horrible actor, but I will say okay. I'll say okay. Stay right there, please, James, before after the outro song plays. That's all the time we got, everybody. Peace out, rock on, and much love.
This is the Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does Nothing Short of Tragic have his back again? Yes. Does everything that's good really have to end? Yes. A pimp host has to pimp show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.